Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Please God Let It End. My name is Derailious, and today we have a new Skyblock update that is making a lot of people very, very unhappy due to changes to the museum. Today we're going to go over pretty much everything in terms of what's going on, why people are upset, and I'm going to basically be giving you your opinion. So without any further ado, let's launch right into this. So fundamentally what this update is a museum overhaul. They state since the museum's initial release, they've acknowledged that the progression lacked depth and didn't scale appropriately with the diverse range of items in the game. So they've reimagined the milestone system. Instead of each donated item giving the same amount of Skyblock XP, items will now give differing amounts of XP based on what stage of progression they are in. So early game items like the Spider Sword won't be giving as much XP as your Hyperion. They've also added a bunch of new rewards. Now keep in mind, many of these rewards existed in other parts of the game previously, they've just been moved around. These are found for every 100 Skyblock XP worth of items you have donated, 30 milestones total, and each milestone also gives you plus 1% bits multiplier, which is actually pretty significant, and plus 2% bank interest. But notably, the thing that has people very upset here is that there is an auction bid limit requirement for many of these ranks. Personally, I'm not too opposed to something like that. I do think some of them are a little bit obscene. For example, at level 23, which is 2300 XP, I think you should have already maxed this out. You shouldn't still have to go all the way to like 28 or whatever it is to get to 25 billion. But generally, I think this is fine. This is really to make it so that people who have like a bunch of money in, I don't know, buying stuff on the auction house can't just not put stuff in the museum, basically forcing people into using the system. It's fine, I guess. I'm not really too in favor, but I'm not crazy opposed either. There also is a lot of anger around Shen's special. You need to get milestone 20 in order to access it. This is just kind of one of those things where it's a little bit much. I feel like it could be moved down the list a little bit and people will be a lot happier about it, but I digress. In terms of other pretty big changes, there are some fairly notable ones. Basically, they've changed around the Dark Candy Shop, which replaces the milestone system that was in place for the Great Spook event. This allows players to pick what rewards they want and in what order, which is pretty nice. Although, I will say, people were talking about the fact that some of these rewards effectively cost more than they did previously, which isn't too great, but, I mean, this is just the price we pay at this point. In terms of other changes and miscellaneous things, there isn't too much of note here, other than the fact that they've made it so gold and diamond dungeon heads are now soulbound. You can now go to Rusty to pick up yours if you've lost yours previously, but I really do not like this change at all. Many players, especially relatively mid-game ones, when they're getting into M7 for the first time, they require a dungeon head. They need them to survive, and frankly, making it so that they're soulbound makes people have to grind through 1,000 F7 runs in order to get their head in order to go into M7 consistently. Now, I wouldn't be as mad about this if they didn't just drop this change, just kind of out of nowhere. There was no heads up in game. I know you could have hopped into alpha and see it was going to happen, but there was a lot of debate about it on alpha, and there was a lot of hope that this would be taken out before it actually went through. I do understand what they're trying to do here. It makes sense that they're found at Rusty. It makes logical sense that they're soulbound. It just kind of sucks, and I really would prefer if the diamond heads were made more into a prestige sort of thing, where they're very cool visually, but they don't actually do anything, or you can make any helmet look like a diamond head, whatever, and change around the meta a little bit to make, M7 a little bit more reasonable for people first getting into it. And I'm not just saying that because I'm first getting into M7. I don't really care. I still have access to my diamond heads. I just think that this is a little silly at this point. We're in 2024, about to be 2025. They shouldn't be increasing the grinds, at all. And that's pretty much all that's happened this year. So I'm a little peeved at this point. I'm not as peeved as the majority of the player base. I think a lot of people are very, very upset about this, and if you are, frankly, you have every right to be. In terms of combat fixes, this is something that's going to make a lot of people pretty upset as well. They fixed an issue where broken heart radiation from Tier 4 Enderman Slayer wasn't reducing vitality, effectively making the boss a lot harder. Good luck with that. And guess what Slayer I have to max out next? Very, very exciting stuff for me. I don't want this video to be entirely dogging on this update, so I do have some positive things to say here. Notably, they've added some new fame ranks and a lot more bits. I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but you can really get hundreds of thousands more bits than you were able to previously if you've been playing the game for a long period of time, which I'm a huge fan of. I think that's a great change. It's going to make it a lot more interesting in terms of the bits economy, going to make me a lot of money, going to make a lot of players a lot of money. So, I guess good work, admins, on that. In terms of other things, there isn't really too much else here. There's some bingo improvements. They can now use /bank. They remove the auto pickup unlock notification, and they can no longer access dark auctions, stonk auctions, or Shen's auctions. Boo. But also the fast learner perk now affects Slayer XP, so I guess that's a bit of a bump. Also, now the crops farmed during Jacob's farming contest will now display in shorthand. This isn't really a big deal. I don't love this because I feel like the ability to see exactly down to the crop was pretty nice, but I guess the admins disagreed, which, you know what, fair enough. Wrapping up here in terms of the update, there were a ton of fixes, and some of them were actually pretty good. I liked the fix to cat wiping pets that were sent to your stash. There were some fixes for the shady accessory line. You were unable to get like good, reasonable scores in carnival minigames on slower servers. The scores would just get completely out of hand. That has been completely fixed. There was also a bunch of other improvements and changes, typos, formatting stuff, you name it, it's there. Frankly, I've got to say, I do not love this update. I think that at a time where Skyblock needed some more content, some more things to do in the game, maybe we could get some more teasers on the mountaintop, maybe a trailer drops, maybe literally anything happens. We didn't need another quality of life update that was going to be incredibly controversial, and that's what we got. I gotta say, this isn't a particularly bad update in and of itself, you know? But in the larger environment, in the situation that the admins find themselves in, this was kind of the last thing that we needed. And it was down for most of the day. I don't know if you were online. The servers weren't working properly. The museum was down. It's still not working 100%. It feels rough, you know, week in, week out, hoping something positive will change, hoping that we get some more improvements, and just not seeing those changes. And I'm certain I'm going to get comments along the lines of, if you're not enjoying the game, don't play it. And frankly, I haven't been as much outside of doing YouTube stuff, but I want to play. I want to enjoy the game. I want to have a good time. I want to hop on with Jade or anybody else and just be able to do something fun. And I feel like changes like this just don't make that as easy as you would expect, or want, or hope for. And that sucks. So yeah, that's really about it from me. Kind of a doomer episode today of Skyblock news. Don't worry guys, trust me, next time will be great. 3 weeks from now, foraging will drop. We can only pray. That's really about it from me though. At the end of the day though, my name's Derailious. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. And look to the future, fellas. I'll see you then.